Hi, I'm Debbie Harbeck, and I'm a certified life coach working with women in midlife and through the menopause transition. So each week, I'll be sharing the latest information, inspiration, and generate some momentum so you can move forward and feel more in control of your changing midlife body and your life. Let's go. Hey there, and welcome back to the podcast. And today I am feeling in a very reflective mood. Actually, for the past few days, I've been in a very reflective mood. And that is probably because, well, there's two reasons. One is I just celebrated a birthday, so my 53rd. That's big for me. It's the oldest I've ever been. And then there's my youngest daughter, who is leaving the nest. So my oldest left about 3 years ago, but now my youngest is leaving, and that's going to be happening in the next week. So it's a big time. It's a big transition, I think. As a mommy, of course, I want my daughter to fly the nest. I want to see her be independent and live her life and do all the wonderful things she wants to do. And at the same time, I'm sad because she's leaving. And I'm sure that any of you mommies out there who have been through this, you know what I'm talking about. I would never want to hold her back, or either one of my kids. I would never want to hold them back. But it still doesn't mean I'm not going to be a little sad about it. So that's okay. I'm dealing with it, but it all makes me feel very reflective. Like, what is my purpose now? It really hits home that a big part of my purpose has been raising my daughters up until now. But to be fair, it's been a couple of years since they've been adults. So this isn't new, but it's really hitting home that they're not here. So, yeah, that's a big thing. Purpose comes into play here. What is the meaning in my life here? So, this is deep. It goes deep. And I think it's something that a lot of us grapple with as we hit midlife because there are so many changes coming up. It can be changes like for me, it can just be a simple birthday. It can be children leaving the nest. It can be a divorce. It can be a career change or going into retirement. All of these things. And of course, I forgot about menopause. Yes, let's not forget about that one. So there's a lot of change going on and a lot of moments that give you pause, that make you stop and think, what am I doing here? What is this all about? What impact am I having here? What do I want to leave when I leave this planet? What do I want to do with the rest of my life? What does it all mean? I mean, these are all big questions. And a lot of times when you ask yourself these questions, you all of a sudden feel like you're not doing enough, or there's something missing from your life, or that you're not where you should be, right? And I know these feelings intimately, and they show up regularly. So, reflecting on all these changes that are happening, I realize that I've been on a search for meaning for a long time, especially, as you know, since after my mother died. That was a huge questioning in my life, and it sent me on a journey to discover, what am I here for? What do I want from my life? How do I want to serve? Some great questions, but it's not just a one and done, right? This is constantly changing through our lives. So I realize I left my job over a decade ago now. It was, yes, a well paying corporate job in engineering, and I left it to pursue meaning, more meaning in my life because I couldn't see it from where I was there. I couldn't see the meaning. And there was another piece of meaning for me in making that decision, which was my daughters were going into adolescence and I wanted to be around more. And even deeper than that, I realized not only did I want to find meaning in my life right now, but I wanted my life to matter. I wanted to have an impact that would last beyond my life, that I would pass on to my daughters. All of these things start showing up, right? So, a big thing that's been revealed to me over the years as a big source of meaning for me, and I know a lot of you can relate to this, is connection, feeling connected to family. And if it's not family, it's friends, but having this connection in my life. And for sure, this connection to my daughters has been super important to me. It's been behind the decisions that I did make, even though financially, perhaps they weren't the best decisions at the time, but meaning wise, they were the decisions I felt I needed to make. So when we're trying to answer these big questions, they might not always make the most logical sense, and they might not always make sense to everyone in our lives. But we have to ask them of ourselves and realize, what am I here for? Because your purpose, your meaning is very different from somebody else's. We are all individuals. And even though society has set things up to look very similar for everyone, that we should all have the same type of dream, we don't. We don't all have the same type of dream. And it's important to honor that. A big piece that has shown up for me has been connection. And I think that's a big piece for a lot of us. It's also in serving others. That has been a big piece of it for me too, which is what I'm doing through this podcast. I hope to serve a lot of women by talking about menopause, which is a topic that we haven't talked a lot about. And probably before we showed up at this time of life, we didn't know very much about it all. So that's a big way I like to serve, is through this podcast. And then it's through my coaching, helping women on a much more personal and deeper level to get to their own meaning and their own purpose and why they're here, that goes, yes, much deeper than the weight loss that they're originally looking for or the exercise they want to do more regularly. It's always deeper. There's always a hidden purpose, meaning to all of it. So serving others for me is one of those. Then there's the impact and legacy piece, which is really about the future, about what's going to happen beyond my life. What am I leaving behind? Am I leaving things better than they were before I arrived here on this planet? And that kind of makes me think of Jane Goodall, who just passed away this week. She definitely had a life purpose. She definitely lived that life purpose here. She left the world a better place than she found it. And maybe that was in a much more visible way than most of us will, but it's in all the small things most of the times. And it's how we make the people around us feel. It's how we treat them. It's how we treat the animals around us. It's how we take care of our homes, how we take care of our environment. All of these things are the impact and legacy that we will leave behind. If I just sum those things up, these are three areas I think we all need to look at when we're thinking of purpose and meaning. One big piece of that would be connection. How am I fulfilling that connection, not only to others, but to ourselves? And sometimes that's where I can let go of purpose and meaning equating to doing something. And this is really hard to grapple with sometimes unless you're really in the moment where you understand that it's not about just the doing, it's also about the being, just stopping and being present. When you are present with yourself, first of all, you can hear what's going on in your mind, you can take care of yourself better, you can connect the dots that aren't being connected right now for you. And then you can also be present with those around you and connect with them on a much deeper level than if your mind is pulled in 10 different directions. So, connection, I think, takes a lot of presence. And presence allows you to fulfill that sense of meaning. I believe you can only feel that you're making a difference, that you've created meaning when you're very present with your life. That's where you can connect deeply with yourself and others. There's service. This is a way you can use your innate talents, skills that you've learned, knowledge that you have. You can use them to create experiences for others, to help others open their hearts, to help them see their value, to help them feel seen and heard. I mean, this is such a deep part of the meaning and purpose of our lives, is to serve others, but not to overserve in the sense that we're trying to overserve so that they will like us or love us, or so that they won't be mad at us or won't have any negative feelings about us. We can't control that. We serve from a place of openness. I think that is where you can connect with your sense of purpose, to serve from that place. I was just reading Elizabeth Gilbert's new book where she talks about this, how she overserves because she has this deep addiction to being needed and loved. So, just not to conflate the types of service that we're talking about here, but service coming from your heart without any need of repayment. And then there's the impact and legacy piece. What's the long term footprint that you want to create here? What do you want to leave behind? How do you want to inspire people when you're no longer here to do that in person? Thinking about these things, and that can be so simple. Like, each of these layers is super important: the connection, the service, the impact and legacy, but they require presence. And we can't be present and really think and feel things if we're constantly busy doing things, if we're constantly keeping ourselves busy because we're afraid to think and feel. So, this is a big part. If you're feeling like there's no meaning or no purpose in your life, allow yourself to think and feel. Allow yourself to go deeper. But to go deeper means to stop for a moment and just allow yourself to be present and notice what shows up for you. It can be a little bit scary, I know, but that is where you're going to find the answers. It's not in what you do, it's not in the next diet, it's not in the next exercise program. I promise you, it's not in these things you're doing for yourself or for others. It's really in going deep into connecting with yourself that you're going to find meaning and purpose. Because on the surface, if you stay surface level, you will be pulled in a million different directions, and you will be pulled towards the things that you normally do because you do them without thinking. And that's just so much easier than going deep, right? It's just so much easier to stay on the surface and just do the things we're used to doing: going to work, taking the same route every day, making our breakfast the same way, same foods all the time, cleaning our house, doing it in a systematic way, just everything sort of status quo. If we don't shake that up, or if we just don't stop and notice what we're doing by going deeper, then we can't connect with that deeper meaning and purpose. So I know that's deep perhaps here, but it's just so important. And when we forget to go there, we get trapped in the routine of things. So I just want you to, if you take anything away from this episode today, is just to take some time, even if it's 30 seconds, to stop and just allow yourself to be present. Notice what bubbles to the surface, the thoughts, the feelings, and just get used to doing that from time to time and not being afraid of it, not being afraid of what's going to show up for you. Because if you are feeling lost, if you are feeling that there's no purpose or meaning, it's because you are stuck in that superficial level of life, and you need to go deeper. And of course, as a coach, that's a big part of my practice, is helping my clients go deeper, go beyond where they can see right now. And it's a big part of course, why I get coached as well, because I need to go deeper. I get stuck sometimes in the surface level of things, and start feeling like I'm not enough, or what I'm doing isn't enough, or that I am somewhat worthless. And that's not a good place to find yourself. So definitely grab a lifeline, in the shape of a coach, a therapist, a good friend, whatever, but just to allow yourself to be present and see if you can go a little deeper. Before I sign off here, I just want to offer you a mantra that might help you get through this time and might help you get to that meaning, which is to think that you're not searching for meaning, but that meaning already lives inside you. So I'm not searching for meaning, meaning lives inside me. That is a powerful thought. Meaning is already there. I feel like it's a seed that was planted long before you ever showed up here on this planet. There is meaning to you being here, not because of what you're doing, but just because of who you are and that you're here. So that's just a really valuable mantra that has helped me and helps me get out of my negative spirals that I tend to fall into from time to time, so that I can remember that I am enough and meaning is something I was born with. And yes, there are things that I am here to accomplish on earth, but they might be super simple things. They might just be in connecting with that one person today, or smiling at that one person today, or taking 5 minutes for yourself just to go deeper and question, what is my purpose? Just send that question out into the universe. You never know what answers might show up. It's fascinating. So today, if you're feeling that desire to create more meaning, to give more, to be more, I invite you just to pause and use that mantra. I'm not searching for meaning. I have meaning within me. And notice that when these questions, these big questions show up for you, it's evidence that your heart and your mind are awake and alive. Because sometimes we can forget that. And sometimes we can forget that we're on this very short timeline called life. Your heart and mind are awake and alive, and they want to make a difference. Honor these times where you feel like you're questioning your purpose and your meaning. They're valuable. This is a valuable time to reflect, where you need to reflect because something is being asked of you. You don't need to do all the things. It's not about that. You just need to show up for yourself and allow things to unfold without forcing them. Again, if you need to talk about this, you can always book a call with me. I would love to listen to where you are right now on your journey. I want to thank you for joining me today in this deep place, in this deep episode. If any of this has resonated with you, please share it with a friend, share it with somebody who needs to hear it, share it with somebody who maybe feels a little bit lost, who is questioning themselves right now. Send it to them and reach out and connect with me. That's what I've got for you today. I just want to wish you a fantastic week. So bye for now and keep moving forward.
Thanks for listening to this episode of the Midlife Momentum Podcast. If you want to learn more about working with me, come visit me at DebbieHarbeckCoaching.com. That's Debbie, I-E, Harbeck with a C, coaching.com. See you next week.